Chairman of the Stakeholder Relationship Committee, Pramit Javeri, Chairman of the Risk Management and Customer Service Committees, Radhika Haribhakti, Chairperson of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee, Dr. Noshad Forbes, Chairman of the CSR and the IT Strategy Committees, and Dr. Arindam Bhattacharya, our new independent director. He has joined the board with effect from 1st of April 2023. He is senior advisor to the Boston Consulting Group, from where he retired as senior partner and managing director. He has over 30 years of experience in the industry and consulting with focus on the industrial sector. Let me extend him a warm welcome on behalf of all of us. Now I introduce directors. On my right, Rajiv Jain, Managing Director of your company, Rajiv Bajaj, Non-Executive, Non-Independent Director. I should also share with you that the Board of Directors has recognized and strengthened the key role played by your company's senior management by elevating two key managerial personnel, Anup Saha and Rakesh Bhatt. Both of them are now executive directors on the board with effect from 1st April 2023. Please join me in extending to them a warm welcome. All the directors are present at the meeting. Today is Sandeep Jain, the Chief Financial Officer, and R. Vijay, the Company Secretary. We also have in attendance Sanjeev Pilgaonkar, Partner for Deloitte Haskins and Sells, and Rajan Asher, Partner GM Kapadia and Co., the joint statutory auditors of the company. Pursuant to MCS circulars and the Companies Act, the following requisite documents are available for inspection electronically: the consolidated and standalone financial statements, along with auditor's report thereon, the director's report, the registrar of contracts with related parties, register of directors and key managerial personnel, certificate of compliance under SEBI's ESOP regulations, the secretarial audit report, and articles of association. The auditor's report on the standalone and consolidated financial statements and the secretarial audit report for the financial year ended 31 March 2023 do not contain any adverse remark, qualification, or disclaimer. Accordingly, the said reports are not being read out. Since the meeting is conducted through video conferencing, the company has received authorization under Section 113 of the Companies Act from shareholders representing 55.82% of the paid-up share capital of the company. I am happy to inform that our number of shareholders has increased by over 1,70,000 compared to last year. As on March 2023, the number of shareholders were around 8,90,000 as compared to 7,18,000 a year earlier. With that note, dear shareholders, let me now offer a few highlights of the year gone by. Financially, on the positive side, after 2 years, the impact of COVID pandemic on lives and livelihood had started receding. However, the impact of inflationary trends, supply chain disruptions emanating from China, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict have impacted commodity prices. In FY23, the Indian economy faced multiple challenges: elevated commodity prices, higher retail inflation, depreciation of the Indian rupee, and a rising current account deficit. Despite these challenges, India emerged as the fastest growing major economy in the world. Now, NBFCs have been recording a higher credit growth than scheduled commercial banks over the last few years. Given the increasing importance of NBFCs, the RBI in the last few years has increased its regulatory oversight over the sector. Your company, Bajaj Finance, is among the largest and most diversified NBFCs in India, offering payments and lending solutions to its customers. On 30th September 2022, the RBI, as part of its scale-based regulations, identified and categorized Bajaj Finance Limited and our subsidiary Bajaj House. And these are part of a list of 16 such NBFCs, including housing finance companies. We believe that NBFCs with superior capital adequacy, better margins, frugal cost management, and prudent risk management procedures will continue to compete in the foreseeable future. Your company has used these past 2 tough years to completely re-alter the DNA of the organization and put in place a fully digitized omni-channel strategy which integrates your company's entire range of products, and it has already started delivering superior business velocity, eliminated unnecessary friction, reduced operational costs, and enabled Bajaj Finance to truly create a single point interface for its customers' financial needs. Simply put, the omni-channel strategy enables customers to move between online and offline and vice versa in a frictionless manner. A company which is now reinventing the way it does everything. Our omni-channel strategy has 6 domains. 1. Geographic expansion. 2. Bajaj Finserv app. 3. Bajaj Finserv website. 4. Payments. 5. Productivity apps. And 6. A customer data platform. During this year, it's fully implemented. Omni-channel will make Bajaj Finance a truly customer-centric digital enterprise. Over the last 16 years, Bajaj Finance has enabled India's growing mass affluent and middle-class population to access all kinds of financial services to realize their dreams. For example, 15 years ago, in FY08, your company had booked 1 million loans in the whole year, while last year, your company booked nearly 30 million loans, a CAGR of 25%. From a humble 8 lakh, less than a million customer franchise has grown 35% year on year, serving over 69 million customers across the country. Since inception, the company has leveraged technology to launch 22 product lines and 46 product variants for retail, MSME, and commercial consumers, with major product innovations such as the EMI card and Flexi. In FY08, Bajaj Finance, and many of you may remember, had an AUM of under 2,500 crore. Today, as we speak, it has grown over 100 times to just under 2,50,000 crore. These milestones highlight that your company plays a key role not only for its customers. BFL is committed to building a brighter future for the country's next generation. Our CSR activities are focused on skilling for employability of our youth and the holistic development of children. Through various projects, BFL has been striving to build a better and sustainable future for the next generation. During the year FY23, 164 projects were implemented, covering child and youth beneficiaries across multiple partners with a CSR spend of rupees 176.85 crore. BFL runs its homegrown employability initiative, linking finance and insurance to empower first-generation graduates. 70% of them are girls from smaller towns and rural areas, equipping them with the right aptitude and attitude for a strong career in the financial services industry. The program is conducted across 140 towns in 20 states of India. And in the last year, the CPBFI program touched a milestone with more than 6,000 students successfully completing the program, a growth of over 40%, with the desired capabilities to compete for job opportunities in the BFSI industry. Over 10,000, and the certified alumni base has now grown to 16,000 graduates. I urge you all to spare some time to go through the business responsibility and sustainability report, which forms part of the annual report, as well as the ESG report, which are available. I shall now hand it over to your Managing Director, Rajiv Jain, to update you on business performance, financial highlights, and company insights.
First, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome once again to AGM 2023. I'll quickly take you through our Q1 results, which were released a while ago, year gone by, and medium-term outlook of your company. I expect to take anywhere between 20-25 minutes. First quarter results, let's jump in quickly, were just released. It was AUM growth, portfolio quality, and profitability. AUM grew by 32% to 2.7 lakh crore. NII grew by 26% to 8,398 crores. PAT grew by 32% to 3,437 crores. Annualized ROE in first quarter came in at 24.5%. Your company delivered lowest ever GNPA of 0.87% and NNPA came in at 31 basis points. In Q1, your company disbursed a record 9.94 million loans and added 3.84 million new customers, highest ever that your company has done in a quarter. Overall, to summarize, I would say quarter one was an excellent quarter and a very strong start to the fiscal. Your housing fiscal, it was a strong quarter for BHFL as well across AUM growth, portfolio quality and profitability. BHFL AUM grew by 29% to 74,000 crores. NII grew by 18% to 702 crores. And profit after tax grew by 46% to 462 crores. Annualized ROE, adjusted for one-time deferred tax gain, came in at 14.5%. BHFL delivered GNPA of 23 basis points and NNPA of just below 10 basis points at 0.08%. Your company's second subsidiary, BFSL, generated, as you're aware, and we continue to invest in building BFSL. Jumping over to the 16-year consolidated results of your financial snapshot of your company. Your company is now 36-year-old and has served over 69.1 million consumers as of FY20 by 36%, NII by 35%, and PAT by 52%. FY23 performance, if I look at it on a standalone on a year-on-year basis, was equally strong. In FY23, your company delivered strong momentum across all important metrics, with core AUM growth of 29%, NII growth of 32%, and PAT growth of 64%. Return on equity, a key measure of shareholder return, came in at a robust 23.5% for FY23. The company in FY23 also delivered lowest ever GNPA of 94 basis points and NNPA of 34 basis points. Let me now briefly take you through our FY23 performance. We navigated FY23, the macro, inflation, interest rates, and regulatory environment. I'll also cover certain important highlights of the year that went by. Let's begin with macro. As per the provisional estimates, India's GDP growth for FY23 is now pegged at 7.2%. Clearly, India was the fastest growing major economy in the world in FY23. In FY23, Government of India continued to undertake structural reforms and made significant investments in place to do business in. Private consumption also supported and continued to make steady progress. Looking forward from a macro standpoint, I'm quite optimistic about India's prospects for FY24. Various agencies are forecasting FY24 GDP growth to be 6 to 6.5%. Your company remains very well positioned, I would say, to capture India's growth momentum for FY24. Quickly on inflation. Inflation was clearly in FY23 the biggest global challenge. All central banks raised interest rates multiple times to rein in inflation. India's consumer price inflation but ended with 5.66% in March 23. Clearly, Government of India and RBI's swift actions led to sustained reduction in CPI through FY23. At this juncture, it does seem that the worst on inflation is behind us. Various agencies are forecasting CPI to be in the corridor of 5 to 5.3%, and I would strongly say that that's really where the corridor would be. However, we would just wait for monsoon. It may be a key determining factor, and over the next 2-3 months, from FY24 standpoint, inflation and interest rates, as you're aware, go hand in hand. So let me just quickly cover interest rates now. Globally, continue to increase policy rates multiple times, and also in parallel reduce excess liquidity. RBI also started increasing rates from May 22 onwards. During FY23 to rein in inflation, RBI in an unprecedented manner increased repo rates by 250 basis points and also reduced systemic liquidity significantly. Repo rate at this point in time currently stands at 6.5%. Your company responded to the increasing interest rate environment with gradual transmission of interest rates on one hand, while also optimizing operating expenses to protect margins and growth. That's really how we navigated such a rapid increase in interest rates through FY23. Closer to home, let me now jump over to the NBFC sector. NBFCs, as Sanjeev talked about, or as the Chairman talked about, continue to demonstrate agility, innovation, and frugality to make formal financial services, to provide formal financial services to millions of Indians. In FY23 also, NBFC sector continued to record strong growth. NBFC sector, if I look at the last 5-6 years, has navigated 4 large events in the last few years, and despite these large events, has continued to maintain its strong performance. Given the resilience and agility and the events that it's navigated, that the sector has demonstrated, I remain quite optimistic about the prospects of NBFCs in the years to come. On regulatory environment, given the growing size and systemic importance of the NBFC sector, RBI issued scale-based regulations effective October 22 to make the sector more sound and resilient. Your company and one of its subsidiaries, BHFL, have been independently classified as applying with the increased compliance requirements under SBR. I strongly believe that enhanced compliance and supervision will make the NBFC sector a lot more resilient in the years to come and play an important role in providing financial services to millions of Indians and also help in the process grow India. Let me now jump to your company. In FY23, BFL ended with an AUM of 2.47 lakh crore, which is a core growth of 29%. Its NI grew by 32% to 28,855 crores. OPEX grew by 34%, were down 34% to 3,190 crores, and PAT grew by 64% to 11,508 crores. Return on equity came in at 23.5%. GNP and NPA, as I articulated earlier, were strong at 0.94 and 0.34% respectively. Overall, I would say FY23 was a very good year for your company after 2 challenging years of pandemic that came in before that. On your subsidiaries, your company also has 2 subsidiaries, as you're aware, BHFL and BFSL. BHFL 1,228 crores, a growth of 30%, PAT of 1,258 crores, a growth of 77%, and its GNP and NPA were the lowest in the industry at 22 basis points and 0.08% respectively. Its return on equity for FY23 was 14.6%. On your second subsidiary, BFSL, we continue to invest in building BFSL. BFSL ended FY23 with 565,000 customers and a PAT of 8 crores. As articulated earlier, both these subsidiaries represent a very, very large opportunity, and I'm quite excited about their medium-term prospects. Let's quickly now jump to the product suite of your company. This is the product suite of your company. Your company offers largest product suite in the NBFC space. We meet financial services needs of retail, small businesses, and commercial customers across the length and breadth of India. It launched its second credit card partnership. It launched non-captive two-wheeler financing business and a whole host of payment products. I'm also excited to share that your company in FY24 is on track to launch 4 new lines of businesses. New car financing, which just went live, microfinance in Q3, emerging local corporates in Q3, and tractor financing in Q4 of FY24 to further augment its product suite. These new business lines, I strongly believe, should significantly accelerate growth of your company over the medium term and create a more sustainable and a stronger BFL in years to come. What I'm more pleased about is product expansion strategy that's been delivered without compromising on portfolio quality or profitability. Over the last 6 years, product mix of your company across 9 large categories has largely remained stable, enabling growth and profitability and a steady risk performance. I foresee in the years to come this portfolio composition to largely remain same in the medium term. I also believe, in addition, that our existing lines of businesses and the new lines of businesses that we are launching continue to represent a very large growth opportunity for a growing India and its middle class. Let me now share and provide an update last year as well. From an omnipresence standpoint, your company made significant progress on its omnipresence strategy in FY23. Bajaj Finance app was the 5th largest on Google Play Store in finance section in FY23. Your company ended FY23 with just a tad below 52 million gross downloads, had 35.5 million net installs as of March 31st. App is equal to web strategy, which was outlined last year, went live as well. Your company added from a physical with presence in 3,733 locations. In FY24, your company will launch 2 new platforms, Rewards in Q4 and a social commerce platform in Q1/Q2 of FY25 to create more channels for consumers and to be where the consumers are headed. I am confident that as a result of our omnipresent strategy and the product suite that the company offers, sometime in the medium term, your company would become a truly omnipresent company with a franchise of 100 to 120 million consumers in the near future. The progress your company made on risk management in FY23. Before I start on risk management, I must say that your company has a very strong risk culture. Your company continues to enhance its risk management capabilities across financial risk, credit risk, portfolio risk, liquidity risk, operational risk, market risk, and reputational risk every year. As a company, we've always followed a risk-first approach and remain focused on managing all aspects of risk on an everyday basis. I'll quickly cover 9 key elements of risk for you. The first clearly is credit risk. Your company delivered lowest ever consolidated GNPA of 94 basis points and an NNPA of 34 basis points in FY23. It also delivered lowest ever stage 2 assets at 100% of Q3 FY20, where it was 250 basis points. It ended March 23 with management and macroeconomic overlay of 960 crores to protect against any unforeseen macro event. With regard to liquidity risk, capital position remained very strong at just a tad below 25%. We regained our investment rating for ECB program of BBB-. The liquidity surplus that company continues to maintain 5 to 8% of borrowing as liquidity surplus. At any point in time, had liquidity surplus of close to 11,852 crores as of March 23. LCR position was a strong 113%. In terms of market risk, we have a prudent. Your company has a prudent investment policy for all investment liquid funds and deposits with leading banks only. It has a prudent interest rate management. Its prudent interest rate risk management ensured that there was no material mark-to-market impact in FY23. Interest rate risk, a very diversified borrowing mix. Money markets now contribute to 45%, banks are 33%, deposits are 21%, and ECB is 1%. Deposits program now, which is 8-year-old program, it now contributes to 21% of consolidated borrowing. Average cost of funds in FY23 moved up by 23 basis points only, as against 250 basis points increase in the repo rate. A well-balanced, it's a natural hedge to your interest rate risk. On debt management risk, we banked 266 million EMIs in FY23. We delivered debt management services to 41.5 million customers in FY23. Digital channels and branches contributed to 45% of DMS volumes in FY23. This number of 45% was 35% as early as just 3 years ago. We continue to make deep investments in structure, processes, and trainings to enhance debt management controllership as a company. Technology risk, we are already at 40 million customers on the app. We are scale ready for 100 million downloads with 13,000 plus KPIs on the app. Multi-cloud strategy with 80% of the workloads are now running on cloud. We continue to make deep investments in FY23 in security operation risk assessment and phishing simulations. Also continue to make investments in consent architecture like do not call, right to forget, etc. On customer service, a key dimension of risk, customer franchise stood at 69.1 million consumers. We added 11.6 million new customers in FY23. Customer complaints, despite a significant increase in new customer addition, came down from 7,538 to 7,426. Digital channels, which has 26 key modules and 270 distinct journeys, has led to a significant reduction in branch walk-ins of customers. It used to be 2.42% in FY20 of active banking used to walk into the branches. In Q1, it's done. We continue to make investments in new service channels or in adding journeys on the app and web platforms to continue to improve our service standards as a company. A do not call framework has also just gone live on app and web. Any customer who would not like to receive a sales call can now register for the service and will not receive any call from any of our authorized channels. Let me quickly jump to human resources risk. Consolidated employee headcount grew by from 35,425 employees to 43,147 employees. We net added 7,722 employees in FY23. Employee attrition percent that it was in FY22, a drop of 9%. As a company, we were amongst the only 3 companies in India to be recognized as laureate by Great Places to Work for 10 years of consistent great workplace. The employees of the company gave a score of 90% plus on Employee Trust Index, which is amongst the highest in the industry. About ESG, we've financed over 17 million new to credit customers in the last 5 years. We provide financing access to 9.5 million women borrowers in the last 5 years. Our work on automation continues to require less and less paper. We estimate that 412 crore paper sheets is what has resulted in saving close to 5 lakh trees in last 3 years alone. We as a company remain committed to and continue to make progress in all areas related from an ESG standpoint or diversity. That is really how we navigated FY23. Let me now take the last 10 minutes to quickly share with you how do we see the medium-term outlook of your company. Before I get into the medium-term outlook of a company, let me make a point that your company takes a very disciplined and rigorous approach to a strategic planning process. I strongly believe personally that over years, disciplined strategic planning and its strong execution has enabled your company maintain a sustainable and a profitable growth trajectory. Our strategic planning framework, as we've built over years, is that I'll quickly take you through them. First is ambition. Our ambition from a medium-term standpoint is to be a leading payments and financial service company. We want to dominate financial services with 100 to 120 million consumers, market share of 3% of payments GMV, 3 to 4% of total credit, and 4 to 5% of retail credit in India. Our strategy is very simple at one level: to be an omnipresent financial services company, dominant across all consumer platforms, whether it's branches, app, web, social, rewards, or virtual. Our approach to business strategy is very clear: to acquire and cross-sell. Across payments, assets, deposits, insurance, investments, and broking products to consumers. Philosophy, very clearly to build businesses with a 10-year view anchored on prudence and risk management to deliver through the cycle 21 to 23% shareholder returns as a company. We're also very clear that if we want to be a leading player in financial services, we want each one of our businesses to be amongst the top 5 in their respective product lines from a market share standpoint. In terms of profit share, which is the last bit we want, we are amongst the top 20 most profitable companies in India and amongst top 5 to 6 profit-making financial services companies in India. These are the 6 key pillars on which the strategic planning framework has been organized as. If I take that to the next level, let me just quickly give you a high-level texture on how we go about as a company building the strategic planning process. Every year, as your company and senior most management analyzes the macro trends, industry outlook, technology megatrends, business megatrends, and selects it leads to what the company forecasts to be a strategic plan. I'll quickly take you through how your company articulated and created a strategic plan for FY23, which looks at how would your company look in FY20 forecast or a business plan that it creates. To begin with, let's look at where do we focus in retail credit industry to be. We forecast India's total credit market to grow from 145 lakh crore in FY23 to 237 lakh crore between in FY27, an average growth rate of 13.1%. Mind you, as you can see on this panel, it grew by 9.5% in the preceding 7-8 years. We forecast that it will grow faster at 13.1%. India's retail credit mix, as there are many categories of businesses, even within retail segment, is forecast to remain largely steady. Commercial is forecasted to grow much slowly. Retail is forecasted to retail. 94% of your balance sheet of your company is retail. So that's why what you see here is a retail mix. Your company is present fully in 72% of retail categories. It's still not present in 28% of the categories, namely autos, CV, and agri. And as I articulated earlier, it's gone live with new car financing. Used car financing it got 4 years ago, and that's really how the strategic plan ensures that it looks at new categories, assesses it, and makes entry into them. In terms of mega trends, your company identified your company's, while we do lending and financial services, we think technology has played a pivotal role in shaping our ability to scale and also manage controllership. Your company identified in terms of technology megatrends 15 key megatrends in FY23 which are relevant for financial services. I'm happy to share that in the last 7 months, it's made good progress on committing investments in 10 megatrends with extensive use cases, and 5 megatrends are in a wait and watch mode that we are watching very carefully, and we would commit investments as we move forward. If I look at the strategy of your company, very clearly, it's anchored on 5 key blocks in the process in terms of products, geography, platforms, subsidiaries, and horizontal functions. In terms of products, we want to be among the top 5 players in each product line that we're in. In terms of geography, it fundamentally outlines that जहाँ Bajaj FinServe, वहाँ Bajaj FinServe के सारे products. All platforms are consumer presence and generate 50% of our business from digital platforms by FY27. In terms of horizontal functions, we want to make sure that we continue to pursue operational excellence across our functions and deliver robust controls and compliances. In terms of our subsidiaries, we want to ensure that we continue to grow and dominate in the respective industries of mortgages and broking that we've chosen to subsidize. If we execute flawlessly could look like this by FY27. It could have 110 to 120 million consumers. It could have a share of from current 1.7% share of total credit. It could have 2.5 to 2.75% of total credit in India. In terms of retail credit, it could move from 2.62% to 3.5 to 3.75%. It could be present in 4,500 locations, and it could be attracting close to 1.1 to 1.2 billion annual visitors on web. Could have 70 to 80 million customers on the app, and return on equity could continue to remain between 21 to 23%. That's really the medium-term outlook for your companies. I firmly believe that India represents a tremendous opportunity, and I believe your company is very well positioned to seize it. I'd like to thank all the shareholders for their tremendous support over the years and seek their good wishes for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv. Now getting back to some routine items. In terms of the provisions of Companies Act and SEBI listing regulations, members holding shares as on 19th of July 2023, which was the cut-off date, are entitled to vote on the resolutions contained in the AGM notice. Shareholders holding shares as on the cut-off date were provided an option to cast their votes remotely from 23rd of July 2023 9 a.m. to 25th of July 2023 5 p.m. by logging into the e-voting platform provided by KFin Technologies. Shareholders who have joined this AGM and have not cast their vote so far can vote at this meeting. Shri Limay, the practicing company secretary, has been appointed as scrutinizer for the e-voting process. Before putting the resolutions to vote, I would like to brief you on the same. Standalone and consolidated financial statements for the financial year ended 31 March 23, together with the directors and auditors report thereon. Resolution number 2, ordinary, is the declaration of dividend of rupees 30 per equity share of face value of rupees 2 for the financial year ended 31 March 2023. As I am interested in resolution number 3, I would request Mr. Anami Roy to take the chair and conduct the proceedings for the next item of business.
Thank you, Chairman. The next item of business relates to reappointment of Shri Rajiv Bajaj as a director liable to retire by the rotation as an ordinary resolution. The same is proposed for approval of shareholders at this AGM. With that, I hand over back to the Chairman.
Thank you, Anami. Non-convertible debentures through private placement. And lastly, queries from our speaker shareholders. Queries, questions received over email will be taken up after the queries of speaker shareholders are answered. I would like to now hand this over to the moderator.
Thank you, Chairman. Before we begin the Q&A session, a few points for your consideration. All members who join, disturbance arising from any background noise. Once your name is announced, you will be sent a request to unmute your microphone. Kindly unmute your microphone, switch your camera on and speak. If you're not able to switch to video mode for any reason, please use the audio mode only. To ensure greater clarity and to minimize background noise, we recommend that you use headphones or earphones with a microphone. For a better video experience, please ensure proper lighting. Kindly ensure that your Wi-Fi is not connected to any other device or devices and no other applications are running on the device. If we observe a connectivity problem at your end, we shall ask the next speaker to join in and will come back to you after other registered shareholders have spoken. Kindly restrict your queries or comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Our first shareholder registered to speak is Srinidhi Bajoria. Ma'am, you've been placed in the meeting. Kindly unmute your microphone and speak.
Good afternoon, respected Chairman and members of the board. I'm Srinidhi Bajoria from Calcutta, a very proud shareholder of Bajaj Finance and also a member of Millennium Mams. Sir, I have 3 questions for you today. Sir, rural India is set to grow very fast in the next 50 years. However, as a percentage of our portfolio, it's a very small part. So, what are your plans for taking advantage of this growth in the rural sector? So, my second question is, Mr. Jain mentioned in the new product portfolio, we are looking at microfinance. As we understand, sir, microfinance in India has not been very successful, and also it is a very highly risky business. So we would like to share. We would like you to share with us why you are entering this space and what are your plans to succeed here. So my last question is: we understand that low cost of borrowing is a significant advantage for any NBFC, and so the other competitor from your city also has the same advantage. So you and the other competitor both have sought technology as an edge over other competitors in the NBFC field. So we would like to understand all these things being equal. Going ahead, how does Bajaj Finance plan to be different and how can our company grow? Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next shareholder is Nandini Saraf. Ma'am, you've been placed in the meeting. Kindly unmute your microphone and speak.
Good afternoon, Chairman, sir, and esteemed members of the board. I am Nandini Saraf from Kolkata, a proud shareholder of Bajaj Finance Limited and a member of Millennium Mams. Sir, I have 2 questions for you. Firstly, when our mentor, Mr. Vishnu Dhanuka, had met Mr. Rajiv Jain, Mr. Jain had mentioned that we are in the business of managing risk and not in the business of lending money. Sir, I am curious to know if this statement still holds true in the current situation. Secondly, sir, our company boasts of numerous achievements to its credit. We have the highest number of locations, the largest distribution network, a comprehensive digital outreach, and the best credit rating. So with the company already being the best in its business, sir, I am eager to understand what next. So what lies ahead for Bajaj Finance and how do we intend to build upon our existing success and continue setting new benchmarks in the future? Thank you for your time, sir. I look forward to hearing your valuable responses.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Payal Nathwani to speak. Ma'am, you've been placed in the meeting. Do unmute your microphone and speak.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. A very good afternoon to all the members of the board and my fellow shareholders. I am Payal Nathwani from Rajkot, a proud shareholder of your company and also a representative of Millennium Mams. Sir, I have 3 questions for you. The first question is, fintech companies are also giving competition to NBFCs. in the credit card segment. How do you see this segment evolving in the medium and the long term? My second question is, a new player is going to be listed shortly, which can be a huge disruptor. Your views on this new competition? And lastly, I want to ask, my third question is, the largest NBFC, HDFC, is now merging with HDFC Bank. Do you think that this will be an advantage for your company now that you have a bigger competition in terms of HDFC Bank? How will this plan out? Your views on this. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next. Sir, you have been placed in the meeting. Do unmute your microphone and speak.
Thanks for opportunity, sir. Very commendable job since last 16 years. You and your team, Mr. Rajiv Jain and his team, is doing commendable performance, and that performance is continuously increasing our expectation from you. So that is the one thing which covers. I am trying to ask is basically, sir, looking at the very comfortable interest rate scenario, easy liquidity, NPAs and credit risk seems to be lower. So competition is increasing. So just I have one question, if Mr. Rajiv Jain can explain in detail. Basically, this interest rate competition, our customer is always or normally choose lower cost, lower interest rate. So in that scenario, and if you look at our first quarter result, our NII has grown up 26%, but our interest cost has gone up by 55%. So in this type of competition, how will we be differentiating ourselves? How will we be growing profitably and competing with them? That is just one question. And again, congratulations to everyone at Bajaj Finance. Wish you good luck. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Celestine Mascarenas to share her views. Ma'am, you have been placed in the meeting. Kindly unmute your microphone.
Hello,
and speak.
can you hear me? Hello,
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
am I
Hear you. Please
am
go
I
ahead.
audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah. Respected Chairman, Mr. Sanjeev Bajaj, members of the board, my fellow shareholders, I am Mrs. C. Mascarenas. I am speaking from Mumbai. First of all, I thank the company secretary, Mr. R. Vijay, and his team for sending me an annual report and also registering me as a speaker and also giving me this platform and to speak and much easy platform. Now I come to the annual report, which is very exhaustive, self-explanatory, adhering to all the norms of corporate governance. I thank the company's secretarial team for sending me for making such a beautiful balance sheet. My next day's working is very good, and you have rewarded us with rupees 30 per share is very good. But my question is whether next year we'll get 35 because the things are becoming very difficult. Why I say that now a big competitor is come. Even I had just told the secretarial team also, such a big competitor, the Geo Financials, how this will affect us in the future. All this while it was okay because lots I'm hearing sort of, in the telecom what happened. When this Geo came, others were all shaken up. And only the strongest. Of course, I know Bajaj Finance is one of the strongest, so it will not that much affect because we have certain intrinsic values and especially Gandhian. So I know we are in this thing, but my question is whether we will get more dividend, and market cap. Anyway, that time will tell. Now I want to ask some academic questions. Do we do gold lending? And if we do, what is the percentage of the total loan book? Now we have about 43,147 employees plus. What is the average age of these employees and what is the attrition level? And are they still working from home alternate days or 2 days? Like many of the software companies are still working, and it is like beneficial also now. So much of training, especially in Bombay, traveling is becoming lots of hassle. So if they work from home also, it is good. Um, Now we have very good apps. How much of business is we of the total business we get from the app and online? What we see our company for the future, because finance is one of the most important sector. So, and especially in the housing loan sector. And what is our NIM level now? What is our NIM? Has it improved than last year? With this, I support all the resolutions. I wish my company all the best, and especially I wish you and your entire team very good health, because health is wealth. So with this, thank you so much. I don't want to go very, because the presentation was very big. So lots of things were initiated in the presentation only. So with this, thank you so much. May God bless our company and may it go from strength to strength. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Mr. Omkar Kogargare to share his thoughts with us.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bajaj, Mr. Jain, and everyone present on the board. I am Omkar Kogargare from Mumbai, a proud shareholder from last 10 years. Thank you for all the efforts which you are doing and you have done. And I am sure the team will keep on doing for the betterment of the shareholders and for the company. One question many participants have already asked about the possible impact of Geo Financial Services on the Bajaj Finance. About as the Geo Financial Services, they have bigger size, bigger impact, bigger distribution from the subsidiaries, as well as the low cost of capital. So just thinking, what's the strategy of Bajaj Finance regarding this? The second question is the guidance which you have mentioned in terms of ROE and ROA, as well as the GNP. As we can notice that in the last quarter it was lower, and now you have increased from this quarter onwards for BFL as well as for BHFL, if I'm not wrong. So just wanted to ask what has made you change the ROE and ROA profile as well as the other financial metrics? What has changed? Third question is basically on the Bajaj Group's thinking, the entire Bajaj Group's thinking and entire management's thinking on the conversion of Bajaj Finance into a bank. As you have mentioned that the NBFC has been upscaled by RBI, as now it is a bigger part of the overall industry. It has systemically been important for the industry as well. So what's the longer term thinking on this front on conversion into a bank? And the next question is on the possible impact of other competitors on your margins, as well as on the slower incremental growth for the clients. And another thing is that as you have just articulated the medium-term vision of Bajaj Finance, just wanted to know what's the strategy of Bajaj Housing Finance in this front, as it is post-tax finance limited. Overall, it is renting the profitability and other financial metrics of Bajaj Finance as a whole and industry. As of now, the ROE and ROA of Bajaj Housing Finance Limited, it is comparatively lower. So what's the strategy of Bajaj Housing Finance Limited on that front? Thank you very much.
Sir, our next speaker is Aspi Vesania. Sir, you've been placed in the meeting. Kindly
can
switch your
you
camera
hear me?
on. Yes, sir, we can hear you and see you.
I'm Asmi from Bombay. So you've done very well, for which I congratulate the entire management, not only for the year but also for first quarter. I hope you continue the trend. So only one question is that how do you propose to face the onslaught of Geo? Geo has got all muscle power and everything. So how do you propose to face that? Then second question is about that RTA, what I talked in Maharashtra scooters. Have you thought about anything? So thank you very much and all the best for the future.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Arun Kumar Bopanna to speak. Sir, you've been placed in the meeting. Do switch your microphone on and speak. Sir, kindly unmute your microphone. We can now hear you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to pay homage to Mr. Rahul Bajaj, whom I have met, and I'm very impressed with him. Homage to a corporate champion, and homage to the Bajaj patriarch. He was neither for wealth nor power. He was for the country and its people. A lot of prestige is attached to his name. A lot of impact he made on others' life. Maybe guided by his faith, maybe take the light of his life, maybe carry on his legacy. May his soul rest in peace. And I am a customer of your insurance, sir. All my family members, we have health insurance, car insurance, Bajaj Finance. I'm very happy with that. So the kind of service and the commitment you do. Sanjeev, you have a baritone voice, which I told you when we met in Pune a couple of years ago. You have strong leadership too. I'm sure you'll take it forward in a much better way, in a very controlled and systematic way, as Mr. Rahul Bajaj always wanted clean money. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Arvind Vaikar. Sir, you've been placed in the meeting. Kindly unmute your microphone and speak.
Mr. Sanjeev Bajaj, the chairman of the company. Mr. Raju Jain, managing director of Bajaj Finance AGM. And all the directors on the board and all my shareholders. My name is Arvind Vaikar. I'm calling from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. I would like to congratulate Bajaj Finance for actually getting upper layer NBFC classification. I've been investor. I'm holding Bajaj Finance shares for quite some time, and me and my wife put together and children put together, we are holding close to 1,300 or more shares of Bajaj. I feel that the Bajaj, but the highest portion. Now coming back to the Bajaj Finance, so far has given the highest percentage contribution in terms of, if you see, I'm happy about the past track record, the consistency in the profit growth, YOY and QOQ basis. Congratulations for giving the growth of around 35 to 65 CAGR over last 5 years. Now, my question is possibly repetition of some of the earlier shareholders have asked. With the competition increasing, especially the Geo Finance may become more aggressive after demerger, and HDFC Bank and HDFC Limited put together, the merger of these two, they become, I think, do you foresee any threat to your profit growth? My question is first. Second question is that can we expect the EPS growth of more than 35% YOY? What you have been, the past record has been that. So can we expect to have that continuation of that growth? Third, RBI may announce the decline in the interest rate within next few months that everybody knows about. Will you announce your full reduction to the customer? One more question, one more request I am adding in. See, I am a shareholder of Bajaj Finance and I want to remain loyal to take the car loan or housing loan and any personal loan. I don't see any advantage of becoming the shareholder of the company. I personally feel that some privilege should be given to the shareholders
Like if I want to buy a car, I normally prefer to go to banks like HDFC or HDFC or whichever the ICICI bank, etc. I will not think of Bajaj Finance, though you are coming with for new car. So, I should come to my mind. I should first approach you. Once you decline, first, second thing, I should get an advantage in terms of administrative fees or rate, interest rate. It should be better than other. I must tell you that recently for a house for my son in Bangalore, I opted for Bajaj Housing Finance Limited, and I'm extremely happy the way the service has been provided, the correspondence, communication has been given. I expect that your new car loan, I wish to go to you only, provided I get. It's not. I'm not talking about my aspect. I'm talking about all the shareholders should get some benefit. Think on that. It is just a request. If you can do that, we'll be more loyal to you, and in turn, we'll get more business to the company. I will not be going anywhere. I will not be even asking anybody. Like I'll tell you that housing finance means we were all throughout our life. We were thinking only of one HDFC Limited or HDFC Bank. That's all. We never thought of other things. Now, when I saw that when Bajaj Housing Finance has come, the first step we took it that way, and we compared. Let me tell you that marginally we're better than HDFC. That is the reason I switched over. But as a shareholder, we must get something. This is just request, not anything you can consider. I will personally be obliged. Thank you so much, sir. And I must tell you that your secretary, our company secretary department is exceptionally good. They are so good that they take care. And I interacted with Ravi Kane and other people, etc. But I personally feel that your video conferencing and management, everything is so superb. I attend a number of AGMs. I think that the management here is superb. Congratulations again, Sanjuji and Rajiv. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Ramesh Golla. Sir, you've been placed in the meeting. Kindly unmute your microphone and speak.
Okay. Is listening, sir?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much, moderator, and very good evening. Our proudly saying my chairman, राजीव बजाज सर, आपको, आपका साथी डायरेक्टर्स को, मेरा साथी वाला शेयर होल्डर्स को, सभी लोगों को नमस्कार सर, एंड गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल सर. Sir, Bajaj is one good brand, sir. Why? Because किधर भी जाओ, वो जो खरीदने के लिए जो खरीदता, जो EMI में सभी लोगों को बहुत comfort से लेते sir. This is the proudly saying, sir. That too, sir. Our motto, our in future. क्या है और coming 2 years, please give me the roadmap, sir. That too, please you don't go microfinances business, please humble request, sir. वैसे हमारा जो I am Ramesh Golla, speaking from Hyderabad, sir. Sir, जो हमारा सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट के बारे में बोलना है तो सुपर्ब सर, फैंटास्टिक. कुछ भी ना बोलने कभी नहीं है सर. Is interacting very good, sir. Aniket one, he is a very nice guy, sir. जो IC लोगों में, जो हमारा जो कंपनी में जो काम करता है, अच्छा नाम भी बढ़ता सर. किसी को प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं आता, नहीं आएगा सर. This is I am strongly saying, sir. Very good services, sir. इनका बहुत अच्छा है, sir. That too, our company secretary is so nice person, sir. And coming जो हमारे को जो फेस्टिवल आता, आपको सभी लोगों को विशेष sir, advance wishes, sir. And God bless you all, sir. Thank you very much. And मेरे को पूरा सहमत सर आपसे, एंड जो अकाउंट से सभी सहमत है सर. आई एम सेइंग प्राउडली सर, आई एम ऑलरेडी voted, sir. Thank you so much for giving this very good opportunity to me, sir. Rajiv, sir. Have a good day, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Our next shareholder registered to speak, Kirti Shah, has not joined the meeting. So we move on to Mr. Gaurav Rosatkar. So you've been placed in the meeting on view. So
Hello, namaskar to all. Very good afternoon. Am I audible? Hello, very good afternoon to everyone present in the meeting. Am I audible?
I
Kindly
do believe that we have an audio problem here, so we'll try and come back to Mr. Rosatkar. We move on to our next shareholder, Sunil Modak. Mr. Modak, you've been placed in the meeting. Kindly unmute your microphone and speak.
Can you hear me?
Hear you. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Very good evening. Respected Chairman, Board of Directors, Managing Director, Company Secretary, and fellow shareholders. Myself, Sunil Kumar Muduk from Calcutta. I am feel very honored to be a member of Bajaj Finance AGM. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on this occasion. Thank you very much. Thank you that the presentation made by the managing director is very fine, very knowledgeable and informative. Sir, one question is Bajaj Finance encountering several difficulties in expanding its operation due to steep competition in the home loan sector? Bajaj Finance commands a significant market share in MSME and personal loans among NBFCs, where banks are increasingly challenging their dominance. Sir, please consider to speed the share so that it could be easily
ठीक है नहीं हुआ तो मैं
accessible
मोबाइल
and
से भी
tradable.
ज्वाइन करूँ क्या जस्ट इन केस ऑफ इमरजेंसी
With this, I have already reported and all
फिर नहीं हुआ
reporting
तो फिर
done in favor
वो
of
मीटिंग खत्म हो जाएगी
Bajaj Finance. Hope that our company will do best coming days. With the
ठीक है
best,
ठीक
thank
है
you, sir.
मैं एक में सिर्फ गौरव आर करता हूँ मोबाइल जो ठीक है ओके थैंक
Our next shareholder registered to speak, Ravi Naredi, has not joined the meeting, and we shall now attempt to reconnect with Gaurav Rosatkar.
hello once
Sir,
again
you've
very
been
good
placed in the
afternoon
meeting. Your
am I audible
microphone, sir, and speak.
am I audible very good afternoon am I audible
There appears to be a persistent technical problem here.
I will try to connect
With that, all shareholders who registered to speak and did log in have now been given an opportunity to express themselves, and I hand the proceedings back to the chairman. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, shareholders, for your suggestions, comments, and queries. I shall now request Rajiv, Sandeep, and Vijay to clarify the questions asked today and the ones sent to us earlier.
Thank you, shareholders, for your good wishes, for your questions. I'll try and answer question by question very quickly. The overall 12 questions from 12 speakers. Questions are more, speakers were 12. I'll quickly start with question number 1. Clearly from Srinidhi Bajoria on rural India growing rapidly over the next 5 to 10 years. What's the plan? You know, rural businesses now contributes to 10% of the portfolio, of the company's portfolio. We're launching MFI business in Q3, which is a rural business. Tractor financing is Q4, which is a rural business. Rural business, we all agree, is tremendous opportunity, but it clearly needs to build steadily rather than quickly. It's one thing that I would just articulate. We think from a 10% kind of contribution over the medium term, it could grow to around 12 to 14%. Is really how our outlook, given the new businesses that we're launching in rural area. We talked about microfinancing, not been very successful. Mr. Ramesh Gola also had the same point. MFI industry is now overall 4.8 lakh crore. That's the size of the AUM of MFI industry. And it's continued to grow despite the cyclical headwinds that it faces every 3 years. BFL as a company now is in 3,800 towns and cities, which pegs it very close to where MFI actually happens. It also helps that given the rural business experience that we've had 10 years of experience in building rural business. And that's why we thought it was a logical and a rightful step to get into microfinance. We'll start slowly. That's something that I would like to assure you. We're starting in Q3 only with 100 villages in 2 states in India and scale as we gain experience. As I articulated, the philosophy of the company is to build businesses with a 10-year view. We're not building businesses with a shorter-term view. So we would do whatever is the right thing for your company. Is something that I would like to assure you. Various people have asked questions on competition related to in our city, in Bombay, so on and so forth. If I summarize our stance as a company on competition, we are already in a highly fragmented, it's a very, very large sector. You're aware, both banking and financial services put together. In general, first point I would like to make is we don't like to comment on competition. Second, I would like to say, as I stated earlier, India represents a very large opportunity for long term in financial services. Third, our focus is to realize the ambition of having 100 to 120 million consumers and take a disproportionate, or it's lending or all financial services products. Lastly, I want to make a point from competition standpoint. Competition is not only growing as as one of the other shareholders made a point, that there increased competitive activity in general, leave the new participants. Having been at the transformation of the company for the last 16 years, I just want to make only one point, that financial services is all about talent, it's about risk management, it's about managing business over cycles, and it's about flawless execution. And I think that's been your company's key competitive advantage, and we want to continue to make sure that we sharpen this moat and stay focused on that. So that was from Srinidhi, but I've covered the competition question for everybody, so I'm not going to repeat that. I'll try and go in order so that I can quickly cover. Question 2 was, I'd mentioned that we are a risk business. We are a risk business, as I said, even in my presentation, that we continue to have a strong risk culture. We are a risk-oriented business and a risk business. That's not set to change. You saw that in our GNPA and NNPA performance for FY23. You saw that in our FY24 Q1 performance. We continue to sharpen the pencil on all dimensions of risk on an everyday basis, is what I would like to assure you. In terms of what does future look like, I outlined very clearly the medium-term outlook of your company. We remain very, very excited about the future prospects of your company. Despite having reached 2.7 lakh crore, the truth is we are only 1.7% of total credit in India. So the opportunity remains very, very large, and we as management continue to work hard to make sure that all lines of business that we're in. To question number 3, just give me one sec. From I'm missing. I'll probably just. I missed a point. Question number 4 was from Sunil Kothari in terms of differentiation. Clearly, what is the differentiation? A 73 million franchise being present in 3,733 locations with boots on the ground represents differentiation. 40 million consumers in the app without spending very little money in the last 18 months represents differentiation. So we continue to work hard to make sure that we continue to sharpen the pencil into differentiation. whether on risk management, talent, uh, and managing all aspects of growth of business. Question number 5 was from Celestine Elizabeth. There were 2-3 questions. One was gold loan lending. How large? It's 1% of the portfolio. We're growing the business. It is possible we may end the year with at being 1.5 to 1.8% of the total portfolio by FY24. So we're growing that business. We like the business. We've been at it for the last 5 years. As I said, we build business with a 10-year view. You had a question on average age of employees. Average age of the employees has been constantly going down. The average age of the employee as of in FY23, as of FY23 was 28 years. How much business comes from app? Ma'am, we started to publish to the street quarterly by close to app generates. We've also told the shareholders that even for web, we would start to publish metrics from quarter 3. So that's the another point I would make. You had a question on competition. I've already responded. You had a question on future roadmap. I hope I've covered that through the medium-term outlook point that I made. Question number 6 was from Onkar Gugatre. Competition I've already addressed. You had a point on Bajaj Housing Finance, lower ROEs and lower ROA. I just want to make a point that BFL is all about sum of parts. As sum of parts strategy, we are committed to deliver on an aggregate basis 21 to 23% return to our shareholders on a sustainable basis. Mortgage business is integral to that sum of parts strategy. Its mandate as a business, it delivered 14.6% ROE, as you're aware, in FY23, meeting our ROE expectations from a benchmark standpoint. In addition, its GNP at 22 basis points and 8 basis points is the lowest in the mortgage industry. So overall, we're quite excited about the mortgage business. We are quite excited about the work that achievements that your subsidiary, despite being only 6 years old, has achieved. Question number 7. Just give me 1 sec. Was from SP Vesania on on MSL. I think that is on unclaimed dividend. That is a question. I would just leave after I finish, which I can answer that question. Please bear with me. Question number 8 was from Mr. Bopanna. In general, he remembered Mr. Rahul Bajaj, and we thank you for remembering him. He built a phenomenal legacy as a group. Question number 9 was from Arvind Vaikar on a set of questions on benefit to shareholders, sir. We wish to offer higher deposit rates. We will seriously evaluate whether we can do that for loans as well. I'm not promising, but we'll evaluate. You had a question, can we deliver higher EPS growth? We just increase our guidance given our first quarter performance, increase our AUM growth guidance from 28-29% to 29-31%. Hopefully, it should result in higher profit growth as well. You had a question on cost. Rates have gone up by 250 basis points. They will go down. It's hopefully in the next fiscal. I would just like to outline to you that cost of funds movement always comes with that. Rates went up last year, but the cost of funds are going up in the current year. So both upwards and downwards happen to the lag. Given the strong ALM management that your company and a diversified balance sheet profile your company pursues, despite a 250 basis point increase, the impact of cost of funds in FY23 was only 11 basis points. Sometime in FY24, we expect exiting or FY25 early, we expect gradual moderation in our cost of funds is the point I would make to you. Gaurav could not speak, but he had a specific query on he has a lab loan with us, and his rates have gone up from 10.6% to 13%. He has a loan against the property. His question was he's being charged foreclosure. Home loans don't have foreclosure. Home loans don't have foreclosure. Loan against property do have foreclosure charges. So that's one point. Second point, he said most, if not all, have seen increase as a result of the repo rate increase. That is this is looking over because the last one had question on increased competition. As I have said, sir, we continue to work hard to make sure we set a set of objectives and continue to work hard to achieve them as a management team. I would like to assure you on that. With that, I would like to say thank you. I would just request Vijay or Sandeep to respond to the interview.
वो बोल रहा था कि उसको कुछ फैमिली का फंक्शन है जिसकी वजह से वो
The question was, what is the ROE today and what do we foresee in a year or two? ROE for the last 10 years, barring the 2 years of pandemic, has remained range bound between 20 and 23%. For Bajaj Finance, ROE for the last year was 23.5%. The QL that we have announced just now is 24.5%. As Rajiv mentioned, I think we have increased our guidance on return on equity from 19 to 21% to 21 and 23% for a medium-term period. There's a question on monetizing of assets in the current year or coming years. I think as we look at, I think India is a growth country. We are a growth-oriented company. We'd rather focus on investing into our subsidiary companies and assets rather than monetize at this point in time. That's the point of view at this point in time. There was a question on that again was received on email from Mr. Nitin Jain. He has a question on dividend payout.
Hello. मीटिंग होती है हमारा क्या म्हणतो बाकी मीटिंग का दुसरी पाहिजे सध्या तर काही नाही मी आता आलो ॲक्च्युली जर्मनीला होतो ना मला तुला राजने सांगितलं या गोष्टी एक मिनिट तुझ्या तुला राजने सांगितलं नाही बोलले ना कुठे झालं इन्फोर्सला तर सोडली कुठे इंडियामध्ये झालं सोडली का मग दुसरं झालं कुठे ए सी चांगलं आहे का काय ए सी आहे प्रोक्युरमेंट मटेरियल मॅनेजमेंट लॉजिस्टिक्स वर्क आहे काय काम प्रॉब्लेम काय आता इथे तर वेगळं आहे इथं एक्झिक्युटिव्ह कसलं तरी आहे सिनियर एक्झिक्युटिव्ह प्रोक्युरमेंट इथे पण सिनियर प्रोसेस एक्झिक्युटिव्ह आहे इन्फोसिस पण इन्फोसिसचं वेगळं आहे मग इन्फोसिस का सोडलं काय नाही आता खूप जास्त मास फायरिंग चालू आहे तुमचा आता आवाजच येत नाही आहे काहीतरी झालं प्रॉब्लेम तिकडे त्याच्यामुळे मास फायरिंग चालू आहे तू आता सोडली का झालंय माझं काम गाडीत लॅपटॉप
of 17
Chairman Emeritus, we continue to follow in his ideals. With that, members who have not yet cast their vote, are requested to do so now. The voting facility will remain open for another 30 minutes. And the result of the voting, along with the scrutinizers' consolidated report, will be declared and posted on the company's website and KFIN's website within 2 working days of conclusion of this AGM and shall also be filed with the exchanges. A recorded transcript will also be made available on the company's website as soon as possible. Subject to the voting, I declare the proceedings of the meeting as concluded. I thank you for participating at the meeting, and as I close, I pray for your good health and safety.
काय फ्रँचायझी आहे